Hello my dear friends, welcome to this video. In this video, we'll be discussing this JAM 2017 problem which was asked for 1 mark if you give it correctly. If you answer the wrong option, you'll get -1/3. After JAM or from JAM 2015, all the papers were taken online, right? So now the new system is MCQ, MSQ and NAT types of questions. And there is 33% of negative marking. If you answer correctly, you get 1. If you answer wrongly, it is -1/3. If the question is for 2 marks, it is -2/3. But over here, the question is based on the sequence. We will be solving this question in detail over here. The question is, let xn be the convergent sequence of real numbers. So you definitely know my xn is convergent. So let it be converging to some point, say L. Wherever it is converging, let it be L. The given other information is my x1 is greater than pi plus root 2. Right? So this information is given to us. So we just highlight this that we have to use this information somewhere. And the other information is my xn plus 1 is actually nothing but pi plus root of xn plus pi. So the next term is obtained by the previous term. Right? Based on this information, we have to find out their limit. So what we do, whatever is given, let us just try to utilize it. So that given information is my xn plus 1 is equal to pi plus root xn minus pi. I just try to simplify this complex relation. Right, so this is nothing but xn plus 1 minus pi is equal to root of xn minus pi. This root is something that I don't like. So as we used to do in the school, we just take a square on both the sides. I get my xn plus 1 minus pi is same as xn minus pi. So I took a square. So this becomes square and the square root goes. Right? So this is something that is given to us. And the other information is this x1 is greater than pi plus root. Now the information was xn is convergent. So we assume that let the xn converges to L. What do I mean by it? Whenever n tends to infinity, my xn should approach towards L. So let me just consider my n tending towards infinity. What happens to this equation then? This becomes, if my n tends to infinity, I know that my xn converges to L. And can I say that xn plus 1 will also converge towards L? Right? Because it is the next term to it. It will also converge towards L. So what I got is, I got my L minus pi, the whole square is same as L minus pi. So the next thing that student might be thinking is, I should square this and try to simplify it. That is a one way of thinking. The other simple way of thinking would be just considering my L minus pi equal to some other number, say lambda. Right? So my L minus pi is the other number lambda. So my equation becomes lambda square equal to lambda. That is my lambda square minus lambda equal to 0. So my lambda times lambda minus 1 equal to 0. So there are two possible values of lambda. Lambda could be 0 or my lambda minus 1 could be 0. So ultimately I get my lambda equal to 0 or my lambda equal to 1. So what was my lambda? Lambda is nothing but L minus pi equal to 0 or my L minus pi is equal to 1. So what are the two possible values of lambda that we are getting? We are getting L. Possible values of L are, my L could be pi or my L could be pi plus 1. Right? So from this options, what is correct? So if I see the option, both the options are given. If I was lucky, only one of them was given, I would have ticked that, right? But I'm unlucky over here. Both the options are given. And since we know that If the sequence is convergent, it converges to a unique point. It could not be both of them. Right? So there must be something given based on which I should be able to say that one of the option is not possible, hence the other option should be possible. Can you observe what is that thing over here? This is something that we haven't used yet, right? So the other information given is my x1 is greater than pi plus root 2. My x1 is greater than pi plus root 2. So I write root 2 as root 2 like this. So my x1 minus pi is greater than 2 raised to half. Let me think about my x2. How I can obtain x2? x2 is nothing but pi plus root x1 minus pi. Right? So what I understand from this is, I understand this is nothing but x2. What I know, this x1 minus pi is greater than 2 raised to half. Correct? So I take a square root of this. So it is nothing but square root of this is greater than 2 raised to half. Whole raised to again square root, it is nothing but half. Therefore, my root of x1 minus pi is greater than 2 raised to 1 by 4. Correct? So I know that this thing is greater than 2 raised to 1 by 4. So my x2 is greater than pi plus 2 raised to 1 by 4. So I just request students to observe. Similarly, my x3 would be same as pi plus root of x2 minus pi. And this would be like x3 would be greater than pi plus 2 raised to 1 by 6. Similarly, if I keep on going, I get my xn. Whatever is my xn, it would be greater than pi plus 2 raised to 1 by 2n, right? So 3 gave me 6, so n should give me 2n. If I keep on taking my n converging to infinity, what I observe is my xn would be greater than, or it could be equal to pi plus 1. Why 1? Because what I observe is this sequence 2 raised to 2 by n. If you are taking the nth root of 2, it will approach towards 1. Right? So here what we are observing is, as my n tends to infinity, my this x infinity would be greater than, or it would be too close to pi plus 1. But my this x infinity could never be equal to my pi. It would be definitely close to pi plus 1, but it could not go below pi plus 1. Right? It might be something greater than pi plus 1. It could be close to pi plus 1 from the one end, but it could not go below it. Right? So if I just try to observe this, this is my pi, this is my pi plus 1. My x infinity could be over here very close to it, but it could not go other side of it. Right? So its value can never be equal to pi. Right? So from this observation, what we found is my L cannot be equal to pi, since my xn were actually very much close to pi plus my x infinity. I could say x infinity pi plus, right? So what we found, this could not be correct, hence the correct option is pi plus. If you understood the concept, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Okay, and also share it with your friend if this information is helpful to them. Okay, thank you.